Clips. And remember, citizens, always subscribe. Hit the notification bell as well. And $19.95 plus shipping and handling will keep you out of hell. Alrighty, booktubes, another one of Clips. Late start, because I was late up. Then I was having a quick bath and I realised that I'd forgot that I got the dentist later, so I'm going to do a very quick one, just a quick summary of today's daily politics. So if you like politics but are sick of the tits, then get your fix from today's daily PoliTITS. And again, the format's very simple. Just go around and compare notes between as many different English-speaking talking hole news outlets as I can. To compare notes, see what different flavours of the same information news outlets are giving you. So we'll be looking at the likes of Reuters, Ukraine air base under frequent fire as Russian aims at F-16 arrivals. That would be the aeroplanes, I'm assuming. We'll have a look at the BBC's. I think I must have been watching football or something on that. Nairobi, that's Kenya, isn't it? I think. Looking at the BBC's, this should be Sky News if it decides to kick in. There's Joe McJewstein. Need to go through the comments and get rid of all the spam bots. Nigel Vage's fanboys, fan base, apparatus, who knows. We'll have a look at Al Jazeera.
It was called out on the day on Thursday last week when
that's in Nairobi as well, so there's more protests happening in Nairobi. So just I think that was all that kind of stuff. Have a look at RT, Press TV, although that's very hard to watch. I'll check that out, man. That's news, isn't it? France 24, this should be the German wave. Then we'll have a look at NBC. I'll try and have a look at as much as I can in the time that I've got. Always. Anybody noticed recently YouTube running a wee bit slower than normal? Or is it just a me? So while those shit things are trying to load, let's go to the top
playing in this year's singles tournament. In a statement, he said the decision had been very difficult, extremely
breaking news, y'all. Andy Murray isn't going to play tennis.
Live from London, this is BBC News. With 48 hours to go until voters head to the polls, parties make their final pitches to the country.
I'm Regina Vaidyanathan, live in Darlington. With just days to go now till the general election, we'll be speaking to people here about what matters in North East England.
In France, parties opposing the far right choose their candidates ahead of Sunday's second round election. Hurricane Beryl strengthens to a Category 5 storm as it sweeps across the Caribbean. Andy Murray withdraws from the singles at Wimbledon 10 days after surgery on his back. With less than 48 hours to go until the general election, the parties are beginning their final pitch for voters. Sir Keir Starmer is calling for a summer of change and setting out Labour plans to use high street opticians to help cut NHS waiting lists. Rishi Sunak is warning against a Labour supermajority. He's told the BBC that he'll continue to fight for every vote until the last minute of the campaign. The Lib Dem leader, Sir Ed Davey, is accusing the Conservatives of creating a sewage scandal. The SNP's John Swinney is warning that both Labour and the Conservatives would introduce more austerity measures. The Green Party's talking education. It wants to replace Ofsted and scrap tuition
that's
fees.
the
And a second Reform candidate has defected to the Conservatives, claiming
so
the vast majority
small.
of Reform candidates are, quotes, racist, misogynistic and bigoted. Well, earlier, Rishi Sunak was taking questions at a distribution warehouse in
You got to deal with those people in Brambot,
the
intelligent
and
lad.
integrity of his government.
I actually did set out 5 very clear things that you could hold me accountable for. That was quite rare for a politician to do. Right? And I'm okay for people to say, well, like, how have you done? That's the whole point. Again, I just want to be open with you. Like, that's what I was going to focus on. And we can go through and see where we've made more progress or less progress. But again, that's who I am as a person. And the last thing I'd say is, look, I'm not afraid to do what I think is right for this country, even when it's not politically convenient. And you saw that during the leadership contest a couple of summers ago, when people didn't really want to hear what I had to say about the economy and the right way to do it when I was in that contest. But I kept going, and everyone said, you're going to lose, and all the rest of it. But I was like, well, I think this is right. And even if people don't want to hear it now, I want to make sure I argue the case. And look, I was proved right then, right, on that big economic debate where no one thought that I would succeed. And that's why you can trust me now when I'm warning you about the dangers of what Labour would do if they were in power with our economy, right? I had the courage of my convictions then to say what I thought was right, even though it was tough, and I'm doing the same thing now, because I don't want all of the progress we've made over the last 18 months to be washed away and for all of you to pay the price in higher taxes.
The Prime Minister there. Let's speak to Ian Watson, who's at Westminster. And Ian, there is a real sense of urgency, in a sense, building in the campaigns, isn't there, as people obviously get the chance to vote in less than 48 hours. Just let me start, if I can, ask you to tell us more about this latest Reform candidate defection.
Yeah, a piece of good news, I guess, for
Rishi
Sunak. He's obviously campaigning to hold on to Conservative seats, but it'll be given a little bit of a boost when he hears that Georgie David, a Reform candidate for a seat in East London, is now endorsing the Conservative.
Have you ever seen a human being who could dress up as Gollum and not need a mask?
Why? Well, she says that she doesn't want to be associated with so many people in the Reform UK party, as she sees it, who are racist or misogynistic or bigoted, or perhaps all three. That's her view.
Wonder if
she does exonerate the leadership of the party for that. She doesn't think that they're racist in any way, but she is dismayed, she says, at the lack of action by the Reform leadership to take really in hand those candidates that she thinks are saying unacceptable things. So she has effectively urged people to vote for the Conservatives instead. She is the second Reform candidate to do so. Another candidate in Derbyshire did exactly the same thing. So the chairman of Reform UK, Richard Tice,
feels like a setup, doesn't it? Almost feels like people have joined.
They're offering jobs or safe seats to Reform candidates who choose to defect before polling day. But he wasn't addressing head-on her criticism of some of the fellow candidates for Reform.
And just tell us a bit more about what we've heard from Rishi Sunak and Keir Starmer in the last hour. We both saw both of them taking questions. Their main messages obviously are familiar, but they're also being asked, further details.
Well, that's right.
You know, what their slogans, meaningless statements actually mean.
Thursday, and indeed, if we won't be obviously broadcasting their messages on Thursday during the whole day, but people will hear them on the doorstep. So Keir Starmer once again saying, if you want change, you have to vote for it.
We need to change.
Sunak is warning against the Labour supermajority, as he sees it, and is also suggesting that taxes will go up under Labour, that they haven't ruled out tax rises, whereas he would cut taxes for people of every generation. And those are going to be familiar messages. For me, what was more interesting is actually where they're campaigning rather than what they are saying. So, for example,
do you want to register a no vote
in Oxfordshire in a seat once represented by a previous Conservative Prime Minister, David Cameron, should normally be considered safe. The Lib Dems,
do you want to register a no vote
chance of winning it?
And
yesterday, I joined the
excuse me, madam, are you going to vote?
And was taken to.
Well, do you want to register your no vote
Conservative since it has been
formed?
Of
paper, write some shit on it, stick it in my box.
Labour or Lib Dem MP, and Labour think they're
can talk about
competitive
my
in
shoebox.
that seat, and moving resources away from other seats which they felt they had to that they had to put resources into in order to win. They think they're now in the bag, and they're going deep into Conservative-held territory. So I think that gives you some idea about why Rishi Sunak's talking about, as he sees it, the dangers of supermajorities and warning about what a Labour government might do, because he is having to fight in areas which I think even at the start of this campaign some people would have regarded as relatively safe.
And yet the Conservatives in their press information, repeating the message that it's a relatively small number of people they think who, if they switch their vote, could stop a Labour majority.
Well, that's right. They've said something like 130,000 votes might determine this. And I think, to some extent, I can't endorse that specific figure, but to some extent, yes, there are going to be seats which have been Conservative for a very long
Nigel
time,
Farage,
certainly since 2010,
wasn't he in the race?
Where a few votes may
the
make
turnout
a difference,
would be even lower than it's going to be.
So in almost a Labour-like fashion. But
again, we would get to a stage where we could genuinely stand up and go, these people do not represent us.
There's a call, perhaps.
Well, no, they don't. It's a political class that live in fucking hairy-fairy cloud poo-poo land. But if we get the fucking turnout to such a pathetic
just how
low,
some of the contests are, and
then we can fucking start talking about fucking
and some were really just almost
real change, not Nigel Farage change, not
so
fucking Sir Keir Starmer change.
A relatively good representation in Parliament, and being on the brink of disaster is quite on a knife edge, and it has to be, otherwise Rishi Sunak wouldn't be, and his colleagues wouldn't be issuing those messages. I think also what is interesting too is that in many of the individual fights or constituencies, some things don't necessarily tally with the polls. So I was being told yesterday, for example, that while Labour were expected to win seats they'd never won before, there's some seats which had been Labour or Conservative, though, and
around the country to listen to the election issues that matter to you. Today we are in the northeastern market town of Darlington, which has been fought over by Labour and Conservatives since the Second World War. My colleague Regina Vaidyanathan is there for us today with the political editor for BBC North East, Richard Moss. Regina.
Decades, and then it switched.
Now, according to the polls, it should be hopeless for the Conservatives here. The majority, with boundary changes, is around 4,000. But the Conservatives believe they've got a good tale to tell because Treasury jobs have moved here, civil service jobs have moved here. They're revamping the station. They believe it's an example of where they have delivered on this levelling up promise that won them seats like this in 2019. What Labour would say is, look, some of this is a work in progress, and okay, it's welcome. People here have endured a cost of living crisis. They've seen their food and energy bills go up.
The system itself definitely needed Nigel Farage in this
constituency like this. But it's a crucial one.
Otherwise,
talk of a Labour supermajority, they won't even have
the turnout, as you're saying, Doberman, it would be even more pathetic than it is going to be.
We'll be back with you in a second because we're going to speak to a couple of voters here. Obviously, it's all about testing the opinions.
How low
I've been speaking to
do you
Irene.
think the turnout needs to be before people can start genuinely questioning the legitimacy of this political class?
Very nice as well. Now, Irene, just tell me who you
30,
think about voting for on Thursday.
25,
Nigel,
20%.
So reform.
2 in 10 registered voters. Whether they're asked to engage with a system that doesn't serve anybody apart from the system itself.
A new face, new blood, new ideas.
Oh man, it's almost like every election beforehand. Einstein would be turning in his grave going like, these people are all insane. They're doing the same thing.
One voter just now talking to
See,
our
that guy's
colleagues up
oranges
in
and
Darlington,
fucking
saying they thought
Donald
Labour
Trump
were going to take the UK back into Europe. Keir Starmer has specifically said that he's not going.
1, no membership of the single market. Number 2, no membership of the customs union. And number 3, no freedom of movement. So those red lines, if he keeps those red lines after
we all know Tommy Robinson kind of agrees with freedom of movement when it's him, but he just likes to have the freedom of movement. These people don't.
But there are certain things that will cost Britain if they want a closer trading relationship For example, one of the areas that Labour has talked about is a veterinary agreement with the
selection
EU,
of Stammer
that would
is a
remove the
foregone
need
conclusion.
for very
They're
expensive
practically announcing you one
animal
in the Irish papers.
food checks,
I announced
animal
Flower.
health
Does he surprise me?
controls
It's
on
a
goods
walk-in.
going back and forth
But
between
that's
the European
democracy,
Union and
isn't
Britain.
it?
If you had
God
a veterinary
bless
agreement,
democracy.
that could reduce those that friction substantially, but the precedent that the EU has,
You're already
let's say,
there. The
Switzerland
media
and
will
Norway
never
is that they have
suggest it to the voters, though, so they
follow
don't see
the
it.
EU's,
Aye,
food safety
the media
rules,
would never
that's
dare
what they call
suggest
dynamic alignment. So when the
anything
EU
other
changes
than our
rules,
democracy is
those countries
legitimate.
accessing the single market or the single,
It doesn't matter how
food safety area
pathetic
would
the
have to follow
turnout
suit,
is. I think
and
if
there would have to be
the
a role
turnout
for
was
the
so
European
pathetic, I
Court of
think they would
Justice
lie. I
in
think they would need
disputes.
to lie.
So that would be
Otherwise,
quite a
how
big
can they
stride
stand
for
up
Labour to
in
have to
front
take,
of us and say we
to get
rule
that veterinary
and govern
agreement.
with people's
There are
consent?
other areas
Because
as well that Labour
nobody
has talked about, but
thinks
I
these
think
people are
we would
serving
have to wait and see
anybody
how ambitious
apart from
they
the
do want to be
political
once, the
fucking
election results
class.
are known.
And we've seen, of course, for example, John Curtis doing reporting saying some of the pro-Brexit voters are the people who are most disillusioned on the question of trust. So if it was an incoming Labour government, they still face pressure there. But they're also
take us back into Europe. For all intents and purposes, we're still pretty much there, you know. Nigel Farage and the reform mob go on about it all the time with the European Court of Human Rights, you know, that they desperately
possible,
want to
but I think
get us out of.
We would be looking at tinkering around the margins. I mean, if Labour says that they're not going to have, they're not going to go
GG, it is hard to get your head round, you know, like, people can't understand what I'm putting forward, you know. When I criticise reform, some of the robots, I'm presuming they're robots, by the way, the amount of them, the comments I get back are like, so what would Labour do? What would Conservatives do? It's like there's other options here. The system isn't going to tell you about the other options. Voting isn't exclusive to democracy scam as we are, as it's shoved down our fucking throat. If anybody was to, anybody with a few brain cells was to redesign a democracy or a system of governance today, it would not be anywhere near fucking what the shite that the world has had shoved down its throat because of the mother of all parliaments, the UK House of Commons.
Going in that direction, but as for a sweeping revamp of the relationship, it's hard to see that happening unless Labour is prepared to swallow some pain on the other side.
Good pity a turd to you,
on the
Nairobi.
And,
yay!
Of course, there's been a number of ongoing
We didn't start the fire. It was always burning. Maybe it's now turning.
Changes. In the law, which the president
Syria, Iraq, and Ukraine. Nairobi and Sudan. Libya and Iran. We didn't start the fire. It was always burning since a new world was dawning. We didn't start the fires.
Have been wanting a number of different.
No, we didn't.
The president, William Ruto, to step
No,
down.
we didn't start it, but we'll try to live stream it. Oh, that was a gunshot, wasn't it? That's good.
Fire. There's tear gas being set off by the police, and a heavy police deployment, we're told, around the State House, Parliament, and other key institutions.
Africans and Arabs know how to fucking riot good style, don't they? Western riots are so civilised.
The military tanks are present, and there have been protests around Kenya.
I am right in Nairobi, Kenya.
There were peaceful
I'm pretty sure that's
protests
the
in
capital.
Mombasa, but gangs have also got involved, looting businesses in some cases. And in Migori in Western Kenya, tyres have been set on fire. That's some of the information coming to us from our teams there in Kenya. But you can see crowds there in Nairobi. This is
Quick, get out of Dodge, camera guy. The guy's coming for you.
The William
Quickly go and run behind the cops.
On that a few days ago, but the protests are continuing, as you can see and hear there. Police out. and the armed forces also have been deployed in some cases there. We'll keep you up to date. There is more online, of course, too.
Yeah, if we get any dead bodies or babies to bring you, we'll be straight on the case.
They're all talking about, says Sandrine.
And to prevent another victory from to play in the Wimbledon Singles Championship this year. Today is the deadline for political parties in France to pick their candidates for Sunday's runoff general election. Some candidates on the left and centre have pulled out to avoid splitting the anti-right vote and to prevent another victory for Marine Le Pen's National Rally Party, which came top in the first round. Our Paris correspondent Andrew Harding has the story.
Paris the day after, and for many here, a profound sense of shock. It's like having a hangover, says Sandrine, a legal assistant. People are fed up with politics, says Caroline, so they're turning to the extremes. It's the people's choice, says Margarita, and given the high turnout, we'll get the government we deserve. They're all talking.
What was the turnout? 60% or something? I'm pretty sure it was 60%, and they're saying that was a relatively high turnout because I think it was yesterday they were throwing around a few figures, and I think it was the previous election it was down at 40%, and this one round it was up at 60% odds. Now remember, that's only 60% of people who register to vote. Not everybody can register, does register to vote. Some people are just completely apathetic. I don't know the technicalities of it in France, but yesterday I did hear that you have to register to vote in some capacity, and 60%. So you walk into a supermarket or down your high street. In the UK, I think they would be happy with 60%. The highest turnout during the local elections down in England and Wales recently was 40%. Some were as low as 25%. So imagine we as a collective of people who fucking are sick with this shite, regardless of what fucking team you support, whether you're into 5G, chemtrails, UFOs, Bigfoots, fluoride, fucking whatever, right? You can all get put to the side. Just a coming together, understanding that this political class, these institutions, these systems don't serve anybody but themselves. And I don't want it anymore. Most people I speak to, not just in this windy licking fucking interwebs, on the street, in the boozers, on the high street, in the fucking steam rooms, the vast majority of people are absolutely shit, that's a new word, sick of this shite. But they don't know what to do. The most people just say, I'm not voting, I don't know who to fuck, I'm not voting, they're all a sour of shits. Right? And that is the way for you windy licking fucking internet lands. That isn't a social media bubble. That's a cross section of people in a boozer, in a fucking steam room, in a gym, asking just normal people away for fucking crackpots on fucking line. You know? And everybody's sick of it. I'll be doing it again on Thursday when I'm standing there with my box. Are you going to vote? No. You want to vote? Oh shit, what was my shtick? Do you want to vote for a no vote? Something like that. I'll nail it. I'll get it done for Thursday. It'll be good crack. It'll be funny. And again, I'll be engaging with normal, regular people on the street. It won't be edited or anything. It won't be Charlie Veached up. I won't be going to fucking places where all the junkies and homeless people hang about, being agent provocateur, poverty tourist. Standing in a normal fucking place in the town and asking a cross section of people that walk by, are you going to vote? Do you want to vote for the no vote? And then just start hitting them all this shtick. And it's not even that stick. It's like, I'm not going to be going, 5G's going to get you. The New World Order. Do you know the Federal Reserve? Chemtrails. Alex Jones, they're coming for our guns. I know we don't have guns, but they're fucking coming for them. No, I'll be standing going, are you sick of this shit? Are you sick of the political class taking the piss out of us again and again and again and again and again and again and again? And that is something that most normal, regular people can get behind. None of fucking social media bubbles created with fucking online people getting down rabbit holes thinking, everybody loves Nigel Farage, everybody loves Tommy Robinson, everybody loves Alex Jones, and then getting into these sort of occult-like fucking groups. Fucking, there's still people out there going after tits about 5G. I'm getting a new phone soon, man. Cannot fucking wait, man. Cannot wait. Couple of weeks. I'm going to get a doozy. But anyway, that's my rant over, man. And that's why that's fruitless disappearing online into wee social media bubbles, blowing smoke up each other's arses, complaining about 5G, the tranny apocalypse, J.K. Rowling, Gary Lineker, fucking Prince Harry, Piers Morgan, Count Spunkula, fucking Nazi saluting pugs, fucking Charlie Veitch, what the fuck is he doing? All I know he's a little Tommy Robinson cockboy, you know, for the hits and clicks. Fucking shallow as a fucking puddle, man. Well, he's fucking shallower than a puddle because nowadays with all the potholes and all that. Some of those puddles are deep. Anyway, that's me fucking rant over. Let's listen to some far right shit. But, the BBC's telling the truth in it, because I talked about Le Pen. And you see, all this international nationalism makes perfect fucking sense. In fact, I was just screening my comments, censoring my comments for the Nigel Vaz response fucking right-wing, windy-looking fucking army that's out there. What was one of them? Because I was pointing out all these jet-setting international nationalists, you know what I mean? So concerned about Britain, he's over in fucking Canada fucking giving a speech. So concerned about what's happening here in the UK, he's over in Brussels giving a speech. I believe we'll make America great again. Right, come on, conspirators, let's go to Apocalyptico or whatever the fucking... Anarchapulco or whatever, I can't even remember that fucking place in Mexico that all the conspirator talking heads disappear to once a year, and then funnily enough come away all fucking singing for the same hymn sheet like fucking old Max Junkie Egan when he came back like, 5G, yeah. That put somebody in a mental hospital in this country, and then UK Column used that as a sort of a somebody was drove nuts, was hearing buzzing in her heads when there wasn't even a 5G antenna about. She ended up in a mental institute for a fucking few days or something, and then the UK Column used that as well. Oh, look, the New World Order Illuminati are coming after us because of the 5G. Oh man, see the fear they've managed to install in people, install in people, then control them with because of social media, and where do people end up? Fucking Nazis, fascist, UKIP supporters. Oh, because they fucking hate the government, think the political class are screwing us over, and liked UFOs and Bigfoot. How gullible fucking people on the social medias have been groomed a dillion, man. Groomed a fucking dillion. I'm pretty sure I'll give you an example. George Square was somebody, a poor lassie infected with the 5G fear, and George Square, 5G, a guy just walking by, going for ATB, and he's turned around and went, what a pile of shite, you know? Not standing there, not trolling or anything, not fucking standing there pointing at people. He's just walking by, going in the poo, he's from his work, I think he had fucking workies clothes on, and he just went, what a pile of shite. And then everybody turned on him, with their phones, filming him and all that. Like, what the fuck are you all about? Freedom! Freedom, like the Charlie Veitch effect. This fucking weird mentality cunts have now, like, they have no common decency in places of public because of the internet. They think they can bounce it, they feel the safety of their fucking windy-licking fucking phone, some sort of a force field or something. Acting like fucking arseholes. Well, I can film you, so I'm fucking going to do it. And I'm going to provoke you for fucking hits and clicks in a TikTok video. Fucking Charlie Veach all over me. Anyway.
About this woman, Marine Le Pen.
It's me. Good for the day.
Took the lead in Sunday's vote. If the surname is familiar, that's because her father, Jean-Marie Le Pen, was a notorious far-right politician, a racist and anti-Semite. But his daughter has suffered.
Hold on a second. So Tommy Robinson and all these mob, but they're all littered with these anti-Semites. Or people who, in the past, have really genuinely fucking, their Jew hate has came out on the table. But now it all seems to be kumbaya fucking yeah. And they're politicians? Well, they're politicians, that means they tell the truth, don't they? They wouldn't say things just to get votes. They wouldn't go under the table. I mean, the BNP wouldn't rebrand. I know they're talking about rebranding and all that shit, but they wouldn't do that now, would they? They wouldn't use the internet as a marketing tool to groom people over onto the far right of PoliTITS by provoking people's fears about brown people and boats coming over here taking their fucking stuff.
Rally's image and platform, and one big across the nation. Her party's populist, anti-immigrant, Eurosceptic message and its 28-year-old candidate for the Prime Minister's job.
Nigel Farage still talking about, or fucking Le Pen?
Formerly, it was more people that were workers in complicated economical situations. Now, you have also white collars
the youth
voting for National Rally. You have women voting for National Rally. You have young people.
Thank you, Internet.
France's president is in trouble. No wonder it looked like Emmanuel Macron was trying to hide yesterday. His election gamble has backfired. His centrist party on track to lose heavily.
Oopsie!
So what of plans to block the far right from sweeping to victory? Different parties began arriving at Parliament aiming
now, that's democracy, people.
Against the national rally.
Playing with numbers.
The divisions are
fucking making deals with the devil and shit.
The leader of the Green Party here brought to tears of frustration during this debate.
Love it or loathe it, the National Rally is now at the heart of France's political.
I don't want to go and watch that
More
debate.
The most powerful party across the country.
But can it translate that into enough seats in Parliament to win outright? If it can, France will be changed utterly. Andrew Harding, BBC News, Paris.
Okay, let's catch up with the weather. Here's Carol Kirkwood.
Hello again. As we go through the rest of this week, the temperatures
are
around average or below average.
I'll need to be going in about 15 minutes. I need to go to the dentist's. But man, I fucking lost both my bets last night, but I put money on the outsiders. Anyway, what we're looking at here 53 minutes ago. There we go. See what the frogs are saying to it. I think that's it there, isn't it?
France's left-leaning alliance and President Macron's centrist party scrambled to try and block Marine Le Pen's national rally. If her party wins big in the runoff vote Sunday, it'll be the first time the far right takes power in France since the occupation of Nazi Germany in World War II.
Woohoo! Yeah, baby!
Then Viktor Orban marks Hungary's first day at the head of the
I have a news cycle without a wee sprinkle of fucking Nazis on it, man. It's like fucking ice cream without sprinkles.
Has been a vocal opponent to any Western military aid to Kyiv.
Kyiv!
And a win for Donald Trump in the Supreme Court. It rules that presidents can have broad immunity from prosecution for official acts. Joe Biden calling the move a dangerous precedent. We'll be talking to Douglas Herbert for more.
I hate that word because I always start saying president. Precedent.
Here in France, close to 190 candidates have withdrawn from round 2 of France's legislative elections. That move meant to give their better-placed rivals a bigger chance of beating candidates from the far right. Now, parties on the left have previously supported more
exactly what Nigel
Farage
done
against the National Rally or its
last general election with UKIP.
And while some
to give the Conservatives as many seats as they did. Politics, democracy is not what it is presented to us as, or a lot of people understand it to be.
Majority in the second round of France's legislative elections, other parties are resurrecting the so-called Republican Front. The election has thrown up more than 300 3- or 4-way second-round runoffs. This has prompted left-wing and centrist parties to consider giving way to other candidates better placed to defeat the National Rally. As of Monday night, more than 180 candidates had withdrawn from races. 2/3 of these were from the left-wing New Popular Front and 1/3 from Emmanuel Macron's Ensemble coalition. Prime Minister Gabriel Attal, likely to lose his job after only 6 months, said keeping the far-right out of government was the most important thing.
Quite sincerely, the stakes are so high for the French. I'm secondary in all this. What I want is to avoid a national rally having an absolute majority, because I sincerely believe that would be catastrophic for the French, for our pensioners, for their savings.
For National Rally leader Jordan Bardella, the alliance intended to exclude the far-right is a sign the establishment is worried.
I am not going to give any voting instructions, unlike Mr. Macron and Mr. Mélenchon. I believe that the French are intelligent, that they are old enough to decide for themselves. We are qualified today in 444 constituencies, and for change, we must vote for the patriotic candidates of the National Rally Party.
But the left-wing France Insoumise party says the president's coalition has not been clear enough on urging its third-place candidates to step aside or advising supporters on who to vote for.
As far as we're concerned, we applied a clear rule, in line with the principles we've always applied. It's not one vote for the National Rally, not one more seat for the National Rally. And we do hope that the Macronist camp will show the same...
Democracy in action. So I'll just share a wee comment that I was just reading there, which I'm about to delete and censor, because this is a Kips Clips dictatorship. What is it? Far right equals anyone that's not a Marxist child molester. Oh, lordy, lordy, lord, man. It is fucking hilarious, man. Just the comments. But it keeps me entertained, and none of them go up on my channel because of they fucking click buttons that I've never had to click before. Because of the fucking electioneering, spamming, robot, NPT motherfuckers that just come along, spam any Farage clip with pro-reform pish.
Is in Kyiv today for talks with the Ukrainian
sure, it's all this genuine ground roots, grassroots folk, you know. That's why Response will win a landslide this election. Farage will become Prime Minister.
Over 2 years ago. Nah. Orban is an outspoken critic of Western military aid to Ukraine, but Orban assumed the rotating presidency of the European Union Council, and Ukraine, of course, is in the process of asking to join the EU. Emmanuel Shaz told us more from Kyiv.
This is of utmost significance for Ukraine that for his first visit, at the head of the EU, the rotating head of the EU, Viktor Orban, who is not known for his pro-Ukrainian stance when it comes to EU aid, is coming here in Kyiv. It is his first visit in Kyiv. He will see
that whole thing with Trump, it was electioneering, wasn't it? It was there was no substance to it. It was just putting them through the ringer, throwing as much shit as they can. Hopefully it will stick to try and weaken his position in the upcoming election. But again, I don't even think Donald Trump has won this election this time round. And I'm talking like he's already won it, because he has.
This comes
it's more Biden has lost it. Like, literally lost it. Zelensky always uses that camera angle because he's a wee midget. He's like, look at me, I am a giant. I was looking down on you all.
With them rather than with the Kremlin. So those talks today are very important for Kiev, but they're also very important for the EU, as we see Viktor Orban then aligning with the objectives of the European Union.
The Israeli army has ordered a mass evacuation of Palestinians from much of Gaza's second biggest city of Khan Yunis, a sign that troops are likely to launch a new ground assault there. Much of Khan Yunis was destroyed in a long assault earlier this year, but large numbers of Palestinians had moved back to escape another Israeli offensive in Gaza's southernmost city of Rafah.
We have been displaced 10 times, and each time it costs us money and blood. Our brothers have been martyred.
In all seriousness, this clip could be from a day ago, a week ago, 2 weeks ago, a month ago, 2 months ago. How long's this went on for now? What was it, October, wasn't it? So what's that? 9 months? Think we'll get a year? Think we'll get a year out of this war? Certainly fucking looks that way. Nobody's doing fuck all to fucking stop it. They're like, blow them up here, they run to there. Blow them up there, they run to there. Blow them up there. It's no, didn't because of elections and all that. Nobody in the political world that I can see on any of the English talking fucking shows politically, I mean, are talking about this, especially here in the UK. Which there's Trump shit.
Majority. Look, the legal scholars are saying that effectively this is going to reverberate not just across the election, but perhaps across future presidencies. That this is basically a sledgehammer to the accountability.
Sitting on his wee booster seat.
Of presidents.
Number 55, you know it, my man.
That's the only word to use. An extraordinary expansion of executive power. It's essentially the Supreme Court, 6-3, giving the chief.
There really is something in that small man syndrome, though, by the way. You only need to look through history of Napoleon to
being able to be held.
I was going to say Tom Hanks there, but that's not who I'm talking about. Tom Cruise.
Or by Congress. So specifically, it gives the president what's called absolute immunity. Right?
I just think about Tom Cruise doing that. What the fuck was it? I can't even remember. It's celebrity jabber jabber on it. But he jumped up on a chair or something. It was in an Oprah Winfrey fucking interview or something.
But it also gives him, and here's where it gets even trickier, the presumption of immunity when he's simply exercising official acts. Up to you to decide what are his official acts, what are his
frustrating midget in Scotland. Number 50, I'm pretty sure you're not allowed to say cross-dressing midget.
Say that he's presumed immune from prosecution for even, say, pressuring his then vice president.
55, which think of the signings and all that, man, is Goldstone and Tavernier-Ofsky. Are they going to go and get their payday in fucking desert?
Zone, she said. He can order the Navy SEALs team to assassinate a political rival, immune from that, organizes a military coup to hold
this is the 2024, this is what I'm talking about. Getting the Navy SEAls to go and fucking take out Biden with a slingshot and a bit of fucking toilet roll. Boom, that's him out the game.
3 of whom are judges appointed by Donald Trump, overruled by them. This president is now going to stand for a while, perhaps for a generation or more.
So what happens moving forward? I mean, Trump is still awaiting trials
baby.
in other criminal cases. What
so if
there?
Donald Trump wasn't bad enough,
in a nutshell,
it's in the pipeline.
This trial's
people are obsessing about what's happening next.
Making noises in the past 24 hours.
It's like that Kenya thing.
Throw out his conviction.
I'm pretty sure they even the Kenya thing isn't happening, but I'm pretty sure the legislation and the framework to allow it to happen is in place.
Which already seem like
what could possibly go wrong? 2029, Nigel Farage gets in charge, rolls out national ID cards to stop the brown people on boats, and if you don't have an ID card, you get flung on a fucking plane and shipped off to fucking some shithole. How do you like them apples? Regardless, and remember, Nigel Farage doesn't want to see colour. So, if you ain't got a fucking ID card, you're not here legally with the Your papers, please, fucking Der Fuhrer. On a plane, fucking shipped off to some fucking shithole in Africa. And everybody's baying for it. Come on! This tenure thing isn't extreme enough! I still like my catapult into the stratosphere and then where they land. They need to claim that as their country.
Yesterday, the Supreme Court in a series of limiting the ability of the federal government to prosecute the January 6th defendants. And now you have this coming down, which basically grants Trump all but absolute immunity for everything but his unofficial acts. Biden, you can hear what he actually said. He's trying to say that this is a grave blow to the rule of law.
You can see what he's trying to say.
Certainly means that there are virtually no limits on what a president can do. This is a fundamentally new principle, and it's a dangerous precedent, because the power of the office will no longer be constrained by the law, even including the Supreme Court of the United States. The only limits will be self-imposed by the president alone.
Biden's hands are tied.
What could possibly
go
wrong?
Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez is saying she would like to file articles of impeachment against the Supreme Court justices. I can only say good luck with that. It's probably not going to happen. A big victory for Donald Trump in the highest court of the land.
All right, Doug, thanks for that. France 24's Doug Herbert. Well, that comes as Steve Bannon says he is proud to be going to prison.
Guy,
Donald
mate,
Trump's
that
former top
striker.
advisor now serving a 4-month sentence in
What
Connecticut.
vessels came on in a game last season, by the way?
After refusing to
And he was
comply with
putting himself
the
about, man. He was
the
fucking.
January 6, 2021 attack on the U.S. Capitol by
Granted, he
Trump
missed.
supporters.
He wasn't clinical when it came to finishing, but he was putting himself about.
Criticized Democrats, including the Attorney General Merrick Garland.
But we've got that Daniello or something coming back. Who I can't even remember what the cunt looks like. Never mind what kind of player he is. Oh, there's Tommy Robinson's pal.
Next
That
now
was
to
great
some
audio, wasn't it?
impressive eyewitness footage from China. The video you're about to see shows a space rocket accidentally launching during a test before tipping sideways in the sky and then falling and crashing into a hilly area of the city of Gongji in the heart of the country. The Tianlong 3 rocket, under development, apparently detached from its launch pad due to a test due to structural failure. Now, there were fortunately no reports of casualties from the accident.
But shows you China are pushing.
And it's time now for our number of the day with France 24 business editor Brian Quinn. Hi, Brian.
Hey, Jeannie.
What are we
Number of the day?
So today's
it's
number
Sesame
is
Street?
78.8%. That is the hotel occupancy rate here in Paris.
Oh, fuck it. I just like fucking Sesame Street. Today, children, today's letter is the letter B. B for banana. Do you still get Sesame Street? Or is it just morphed into fucking France 24? And Rebel Media, waka waka waka. Cunts fucking Fozzie the Bear.
For June.
Oh shit, what time's that?
Rate for the same month was at 90.3%, which means that with less than a month to go before the Summer Olympics get underway, the capital is currently experiencing a significant tourism slump. Now, there are a number of reasons for that. Among them would be the weather, which has been abnormally chilly and rainy this spring, and I put spring in air quotes there. Another big reason, though, is likely the Olympics themselves. Some of the city's most iconic locations are closed off as athletic venues are installed with street closures, snarling traffic. Even public transport is about to see prices hike significantly during the games. And it's not limited, of course, to hospitality. We've heard this week Air France announcing that it is expecting a 180 million euro hit to its quarterly revenues as summer tourists that would come normally now avoid Paris due to the Olympic Games. So obviously, there will be plenty of revenues brought in during the Olympics, but there is a flip side to that.
Not quite there yet. All right, Brian, thank you so much for that. We'll be talking more about that at 1:15 p.m. French time and when you are back on set for the full business segment. You are watching France 24. Stay with us. It's time now for our daily culture show, and one of Africa's most inventive and distinctive singer-songwriters, Blick Basie, is Eve Jackson's guest today on Arts 24.
Ooh, it's that cool reggae-looking guy, I think, seen earlier.
Useful for Ukraine, defensively and offensively.
We have agreed new, more ambitious defense plans. Allies are delivering more.
Up on the program, Hungary's Prime Minister Viktor. This is DW News live from Berlin. Germany's leader visits Poland. Ukraine is high on the agenda at talks in Warsaw between Chancellor Olaf Scholz and his Polish
Baron, mate, I would be lying if I said I knew anything about him, but he obviously must be showing some promise. That goalkeeper we signed as well, man. Fucking nothing, little to nothing about him apart from he was in the Scotland squad, so he must be doing something right. But I think he was a Rangers youth, I think. He's went and done the rounds at a few clubs and came back. I think that's because we let McLaughlin leave, didn't we?
I'm Anya Coopers-McKinnon. Good to have you with us. Security and bolstering ties have topped the agenda at talks between the German Chancellor Olaf Scholz and the Polish Prime Minister Donald Tusk in Warsaw. Scholz travelled to Poland with 12 government ministers to meet his Polish counterpart. Tusk said they discussed boosting defence cooperation, including strengthening NATO's presence on the eastern flank to deter the threat from Russia. Tusk also highlighted other initiatives that the two countries will be working on together. Now, these are the first talks of this kind since 2018. And we can get more from Jacek Koltan, a philosopher, political scientist, and the Deputy Director for Research at the European Solidarity Centre. He's joining us from Gdansk in Poland. Welcome to DW. If we can start with the relationship between Germany and Poland, is it a strong one?
You know, when we take a closer look at the historical events, and especially of the very
I really would, but I ain't got time. So, played for the Sheep. They are raging, he's signed for us. I think they're taking Rangers to a tribunal and everything, and they try and get more dough. But the money they're wanting was stupid dough for somebody that young, you know. But I just heard, I can't even remember who it was, buddy, but it was just in passing I heard on Talk Sport they were talking about one of the Premiership clubs signing a young boy, and they're like, yes, they just signed an 18 or 19-year-old guy, £30 million. I'm like, fuck me, man, that is ridiculous. And he's not going to, they're not even signing a £30 million player for the first team. It's just one for the maybe pile for the future. The money that goes on down south is ridiculous, man. So late start, sorry for the late start. Did end up on a whiskey last night. And for the first time in a long time, heard fucking last orders. I heard the bell. So, stick a wee thumbs up. Tune in tomorrow for another daily PoliTITS. That will be the wrong button. That will be the last one before the election, and then hopefully on Thursday morning I'll get myself through the city centre early-ish. Do a wee hour or something. Aye, that's about it. And come home and upload the shit. Should be fun though. Anywho, stick a wee thumbs up. Please appreciate it. If you like politics, but you're sick of all the tits, then get your fix from my daily PoliTITS. Format is self-explanatory. Try and get in as many talking, English-speaking news outlet holes as we can and compare notes. See what the different spokesholes are telling us to think. GG, vote Labour. Yeah, later, are you going to vote Labour, buddy? Doberman, my man, thanks for joining. Number 55. Thanks for joining, guys. Noon's Flower was in earlier as well. And everybody else that joined. Stick a wee thumbs up and tune in tomorrow. Hopefully it'll be back at 9 o'clock. I just need to get my sleeping partners back in. Alrighty, boob tubes, thanks for watching. Get it. Got it. Cat cheese, no cats or cheese for harming clips. And remember, citizens, always subscribe. Hit the notification bell as well. And $19.95 plus shipping and handling will keep you out of hell.